All right, welcome in. AJ, let's talk sports. Back at it again. The Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the Michigan Wolverines up in Ann Arbor. But first, special thanks to Buckeye Productions for the use of this content. It's a pretty funny video, but I have it muted. Then I have another Ohio State Michigan in the background, highlights and all that stuff, specials. So we're going to get into it right away because I don't play no games. So we have the history, rivalry, betting odds. I'm going to go through that. And then we're going to talk about by the numbers. Ohio State versus Michigan 2023 by the numbers. So this is, let me see here. Of course, we got the Big Ten Championship. Whoever probably wins is going to be playing Iowa in the Big Ten Championship, but that's not the major concern here. The concern is what's going to happen in the scenarios if Ohio State wins or if Ohio State loses. Where will Ohio State be sitting at number 2, just behind Georgia, if we do lose? Is it a perfect scenario for us no matter what? Will they sneak Oregon in at 5 over top of us? Or actually, it's Washington is sitting at Washington's sitting at 4. I think Oregon's at 5. So this is the true blue bloods of the NCAA football. Started the rivalry back in 1897 was the first matchup. That was crazy. Who had been playing the sport for 18 years. Michigan only played for 18 years during 1897. They won 34-0 over Ohio State in its 7th year of existence. The rivalry started 13-0-2 in favor of the Michigan Wolverines over the course of a 21-year span. And the two have faced since 1919, save the 2020 year, but pretty much every year after that. After Michigan got off to a 13-0-2 lead, both programs have traded periods of dominance. Back in the 20s, Ohio State won 3 straight, and Michigan won 5 in a row. In the next 10 years were 7-3 Ohio State. This was back to 38 to 1951. So we're going way back. We're just doing the history of the true blue bloods of the NCAA football in the Big Ten. Then Woody Hayes took over. After losing his first matchup back in 1951, Hayes and Ohio State went 16-7-1 against them for it was called the 10-year war between Hayes and Bo Schembechler back in the 50s. And then Bo Schembechler took the following 3. After the third loss, Hayes was fired after punching a Clemson player in Ohio State's bowl game. Not good. You can't do that. You can't do that. He'd probably be in prison for the rest of his life now. But 1979 to 1984, 84 is a good year because that's when your boy was born. It was a 4-2 Ohio State. Then Michigan dominated until the end of the century. No matter how good the Ohio State teams were in those 16 years, they struggled in the past against Michigan, which Michigan owned them, the 11-4-1 mark. But since 2001, Ohio State has had a new life and a new era. In the 2000s, 15 wins, 16 if you count 2010, 4 losses. 2 of those losses, however, came in the last 2 years. So overall, officially, Michigan owns 60, 51-6 lead. Ohio State's longest win streak was 9 from 2012 to 2019, and Michigan's was 9 straight too, back in 1901 to 1909. So no one's gotten better than 9-game winning streak. And then here is the 2023 common opponents. You got Penn State, you got Maryland, and then Rutgers, Michigan State, Indiana, Minnesota. But that is just kind of a little bit of a history. And the rushing attack again for Michigan with Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards is just ridiculous. And Corum leads the nation with his 20 rushing touchdowns and came back to Michigan with the goal of winning it all. Blake Corum, Heisman hopeful, 20 rushing touchdowns, and came back to win the whole damn thing. But Ohio State has a handful of good running backs as well. Trevion Henderson, and just 8 games played, Henderson has 794 yards, 10 scores, and had 16 catches for 210 yards. So Henderson's average scoring rush is 26.7, while Corum has 12 rushes for 2 or fewer yards. So then we have a skilled out wideout, Marvin Harrison Jr., of course. He's a Heisman hopeful as well, and Emeka Egbuka. And then Cade Stover. I gotta love Cade Stover. He's the country boy Then we got some defense. These two teams may be ranked second and third in the college football playoff committee rankings. Michigan leads the nation in scoring, 9.0 points allowed per game. This is talking about the defense, and total defense at 234.8 yards per game. They're also second in passing defense as well, and ninth in rush defense. Ohio State is first in passing defense, second in scoring defense, third in total defense, and 21st in rushing defense. And there are all Americans all over the field. So we're not going to even get into that. I wanted to talk about the cumulative 2023 football stats of Ohio State. We're not going to go crazy. They're 11-0, 8-0 in the conference, 33.64 points per game, 370 total scoring, first downs. Let's see, 242 total first downs, rushing yards gained 1,791, and only 190 yards lost. Let's see, passing, 3,121 passing yards. These are total team, 283.73 average per game. And then I think that's about all I'm going to go into on that, because I didn't want to go crazy with that. But we have the Ohio State versus Michigan history. We talked about the history starting back in 1897. And let's see here. I was wanting to talk more about Ohio State versus Michigan all-time record. Talked about that with the 10-year war and all that stuff. But I wanted to talk about what's even more impressive for Ohio State players, and has won the Rookie of the Year award in nearly every season over the last 7 years. Ohio State player, they've won the Rookie of the Year award in nearly every single season over the past 7 years. Let's go back to 2016. Who was it? Joey Bosa. 2017, Marshawn Lattimore. 2019, Nick Bosa. Back-to-back brothers. 2020, Chase Young. And then 2022, Garrett Wilson. Chase Young with the Washington Commanders. And then he went to San Francisco 49ers now, joining Joey Bosa. All right. Now, Michigan is a 3.5-point favorite right now this year. The last time they were that was 2018. And Ohio State won 62-39 back in 2018 when Michigan was actually favored by 3.5. So I'm going to try to see where was this at. So this was their home, away. This is away, home, away, home, away. So that actually happened in 2018. So this is a good little stat for all the Ohio State Buckeye fans out there. Michigan's favored by 3.5. Last time Michigan was favored by 3.5, 2018, hot take, Ohio State won 62-39 in Ann Arbor. And it went over 53 total points in Ann Arbor. So let's try to do this again. History might repeat itself. And the total is at 46, but to be determined what's going to happen so far this weekend on Saturday at noon kickoff. Big noon kickoff is going to be sick. Wish I could get up there, but I'm actually working. But anyways, Michigan by 3.5. That's a good hot take there. I just saw this just now as I was scrolling through here. So last time Michigan was favored by 3.5. I want to repeat it again because I'm crazy. Y'all listen. 2018, Ohio State beat them and slobber knocked them 62-39 in the big house. Last time Michigan was favored by 3.5, and guess what? Michigan is favored by 3.5 points this Saturday. Oh, I didn't even know that. That's a freaking hot take of the year. Let's go. Ohio State gonna be taking Michigan in Ann Arbor. Oh, it's going to be on Fox. This is going to be awesome. McCord has almost 3,000 passing yards so far this year, with Trevion Henderson almost 800 rushing yards, and Harrison another 1,000-yard receiving year and 13 touchdowns. And it is going to be at 37 degrees, partly cloudy at game time. Michigan favored by 3.5, 46.5 over under, depending on what you were looking at, ESPN Bet or Caesar Sportsbook. I got Ohio State. But look at this. I don't even know. Okay, it's about 46.5. We're going to go Ohio State in a squeaker, 35-32, and it's going to be a high-scoring game because I don't think it's going to be that bad. But tickets as low as $400, just little cheap tickets. But you heard it here first. I went crazy with this with the score. I don't care. 60-some points. It might just be nuts. It might be a nuts fest. Harrison Jr., Cade Stover, Emeka Egbuka, Julian Fleming, everybody. McCord's got to get it together. He's got to step it up. No interceptions. Got to be a clean game. And we got to stop the run. We got to stop Blake Corum, but we could probably only hope to contain him. Can't stop him all the way, but contain him and try to make J.J. McCarthy beat you over the top because our skill player is in the back. in the backfield or in the corner safeties. All that stuff's going to be really good. But hot take, hope you guys liked it. AJ Let's Talk Sports. Love you guys. God bless. What do you got to do? You tip that waitress.